What's up, guys? I just wanted to put that Neymar bundle thing, thumbnail, whatever, picture in the front. I hope none of you guys wasted your money on that trash and supported why they're doing it. I think I talked about it in a video I posted today or that'll come out tomorrow, talking about the only reason they did it was to make money because of the soccer games coming out, and they know some people will spend their money on it. I just thought it was funny that they'd actually do that. But anyway, I just wanted to talk about, something a little different in today's video, and that's going to be, what makes a movie good anymore. And it seems with the clash of entertainment that we're seeing right now, the volatility of movies and entertainment has become so tainted, right? So divided between essentially good and evil. And it's unfortunate, right? It's a little sad to me to see the two things that I really love, which is movies, right? Movies, TV shows, and video games. Two big hobbies and passions of mine, film more than video games, right? It's so sad to see them just beaten and taken down by these, critics or whatever you want to call them, where the critics of a video game is going to be much different than the critics of a film, obviously. But I thought about this the other day as I watched Black Adam for the second time. I saw it in theaters with my friend who knew nothing of Black Adam, and he loved it. He loves film that makes him not have to think. Good, entertaining action, right? Like most people when you see a superhero film or a comic book film, right? And Black Adam's always been my favorite anti-hero, right? When I was a young kid, I absolutely loved Superman, right? I thought Superman was the coolest thing, when you're a kid, an alien from another universe, growing up, you could be Superman, How would you know, right? And that's the mystery of it. But then as I became a teenager and I grew up, I saw the reality of it, and it's you're not saving everyone. You're not doing all that. You're gonna kill these dudes, right? You're gonna put them down. You're not gonna stay, throwing them in jail time and time again, and they keep breaking out and killing hundreds of people. That's not realistic, right? And so our most realistic characters in these comic book films aren't the heroes, they're the villains, right? In society, that's exactly what happens to our villains. They get put in jail and they get out, and most part, they'll either commit the crime or won't. And an anti-hero does what they want to do, right? And doesn't let anyone stand in their way. Essentially what you'd expect a hero to be, But an anti-hero has no desire to, to gain anything from it other than their own essentially selfish ambitions. You don't want the mixture of, I have to save all these people. Well, in reality, do you have to save them? And that's why there's heroes and villains. And that's why anti-heroes are so hard to write for, because it breaks the rules of filmmaking. You have to have a hero that gets beaten up a bunch and then becomes victorious in the end. That's that's the formula for every superhero film, Like in Iron Man, right? First Iron Man, that's just the first thing I thought of is, he's powerful, he gets beaten down, right? And then rises from the ashes, creates the Iron Man suit, does his thing, and then in the end gets beaten again by a villain, and then rises up again and beats him, and it does it twice in that film, But in an anti-hero film like Black Adam, when I watch it, is like he's unstoppable. He doesn't get beat, doesn't even come close to getting beat, and that's what I like. I don't want to watch these superhero films and have to have some heartfelt, sad, story that's watered down for me. I want brutal action, especially in my comic book films, because maybe Marvel for the most part. I've never been a big Marvel fan. I've been more of a DC fan, right? But I want my characters, like in the Batman movie with Robert Pattinson, I want my heroes beating up dudes brutally, because that's realistically what it would be, and it's how it was in the comic books. And I keep seeing more and more of these filmmakers and writers being anti-movie, anti-this, and they're not, I never liked the comic books, I never liked those stories. but yet they get put in charge of making them, right? And it's easy to criticize and to say, oh, go do it yourself, you know, and it's not that simple, right? And it's not that black and white. You know, it's a process to get into those positions, and a lot of the time I feel for those important film positions, the people either get lucky or are put into place because they can push an agenda or they're controllable by the production companies, right? And the writers especially, you know. And you get put into these compromised positions where it doesn't produce healthy environments for viewers, right? It has to be an agenda. There has to be some woke, women have to be empowered and have their own scene, you know? And that's a topic for another video, and I'll probably start another channel to talk about it. But just briefly understand, like, you know how there is a big women movement and a women empowerment movement and a Me Too thing and all that stuff? I don't know how old people are going to be watching this. You remember Xena, the warrior princess? Badass woman, right? Didn't have to do any nude scenes or be sexualized on film, you know, other than her smoking hot costume, right? You know, and then she had to go be nude in Game of Thrones, and you know, it's like these women and these people are doing it to themselves, where they're demeaning their bodies for money, you know, and like, you want to talk about powerful women characters, right? That are like smart. Have you ever watched Stargate SG-1? Have you ever seen Stargate? Elizabeth Weir in Stargate Atlantis, the head of everything, the only person that's really clearly thinking. You know what I mean? And the same thing with Carter. I think Elizabeth Carter, Sam Carter in SG-1. Same thing. Like, the only person in the group that's actually thinking with her head, and you know, and is badass at the same time. Why is there a need for them to think that they were never these characters to begin with, right? And it's okay to have strong masculine characters, and that's why the critic reviews were so bad for Black Adam, because it showed a strong male character. There was no agenda. He was just badass, beating the fuck out of people, right? And that's why I don't consider them films, right? I consider a film like The Lighthouse, you know, Interstellar, The Northman, there's many others, obviously. You know, Minority Report, I think, is a movie and a film. That's one of my favorites. But you get films and movies, they're separate. Comic books should be comic book movies, right? They're cool, out of this world action. You know, I don't want some sad bullshit stuff. Make it look cool and fun. And that seems to what's been lost with Marvel recently. And it's like, I feel like the only good Marvel movies that ever came out were like the first Iron Man, right? The other two sucked. And then what? You know, what else? Maybe Captain America. Captain America, the first one, was good. He was beating up Nazis. That's always a good time. But after that, it seems like things just got really watered down, especially once Disney took over. And it's whatever, you know. People love that stuff. I'm not super nostalgic. Let him die. I don't care. You know, I don't feed into nostalgia. I don't like it. But what reminded me of what good film was is when I watched Black Adam. I didn't think. I didn't have to solve a problem in my head watching it. I didn't have to do anything that would cause me stress. I sat there and I laughed and I went, whoa! That was cool. And that's what those films are. So I never understood the hate or how come it wasn't more popular. I don't know if it's a generational gap with entertainment. But I find myself never watching these new shows because I just can't stand them. It's not I was born in the 90s, so I only like 90s things. You know, my generation sucks. You know, these people around my age group all suck. They have poor taste. They're depressed, selfish people. And they don't care about anything long term. They want everything now. Right? And I think that's where Marvel and all those people fed into, is they gave the audience and people what they wanted, and they let the complainers and whiners take over. They divided us, and they conquered us. They conquered our feelings and our thoughts. And that's the problem that we're faced with. And that's why there's going to be such a decline in film and entertainment. You won't see it. It'll come in the night, and you'll wake up to it. And that's all I have for you today. Take it easy.